Hi everyone, this is Driftwood speaking. I'm going to be all very quiet today as I'm recording this at night. This is a Gamerside offline / review video again. Couldn't make it on time for the proper edited review in English. I could only do it in French, so I thought I might explain to you what I like and what I don't like about Steelrising, because this is the game I'm going to cover today. Which is great because it's me going from a AAA game like The Last of Us Part 1 to a AA title by Spiders. And the funny thing is I had to play both games at the same time, which was really interesting in a way, because it was really two games aimed at a different audience, so that's always interesting. So I'm not going to show you the very beginning of the game. I have a save I've kept for you, but because we're going to talk about a little bit of about the story and also the gameplay, I'd like to start with the beginning, as it is when you get to choose the class you'll be playing at. Although you can start as a class, but then you can basically build up your character the way you want. So it's really to show you the different choices you have in the beginning. If you haven't checked any video from the beta, as the game has been available, the first two missions, I think, levels have been available to those who pre-ordered the game, I think. But I've been playing the game for about 3 weeks now, and I've completed it, as you can imagine, and I have a lot of things to say. So one thing I should say first, if you don't know Spiders, it's a Parisian studio, so it's a French studio, and they're known for AA titles like Mars Warlogs and the Technomancer, which are both set in the same world, and also Bound by Flame. That was reviewed back then at the time by a certain John Linneman on Gamerside, if you can believe it. And lately, the most successful game they've released was Greedfall, and there should be a sequel somewhere in the future. So it was pretty successful. So that's probably why you know Spiders. But this time it's a bit different. It's not exactly a role-playing game as they used to do. It's more a Soulsborne kind of game, although I would call it more maybe a Souls-light rather than a Souls-like, for some reasons I will detail in just a bit. First thing you can do in the game when you start is enable the assist mode, which allows you to basically choose the type of difficulty you want, as you can even keep your XP points after you die, which is something that is does not happen usually in Souls game, as you know. Easy cooling, as there's a cooling mechanic I will show, so make it easier. Also choose the endurance regeneration speed, the damage reduction if you don't want to be hit too hard by the enemies. All this is possible. We're warned that the game is meant to be challenging, which I don't fully agree if you play in the standard mode. Well, it's not. There's no difficulty mode outside of the assist mode that you can activate if you're really in trouble. But I wouldn't call it a game that is as challenging as a game by From Software by any means, and I will show you why. So when you start a new game, you basically have the premises of the story. It's set in 1789. Well, if you're not French, you may not know the date unless you're familiar with Assassin's Creed Unity, which took place, I think, a few years after. It was 1793, if I remember correctly. But 1789 is the French Revolution, and the beginning of the end of Louis the 16th and Mary Antoinette, who are going to be present here. But this is not the history, the French history as I've been taught. That was taught when I was a kid, as Louis the 16th has been given an army of automatons, and obviously it's going to change things, but it's also going to worry Mary Antoinette, the queen, as she doesn't really understand what her king is doing and why. And she feels locked up in her palace in Saint Cloud, and she decides to send you, um, uh, to investigate and understand and also stop the madness as the machines the king sent in the streets of Paris are basically on a killing spree, and it's doesn't seem to be an accident, or maybe it is. So you're on the quest to understand what's going on, to stop the king from killing everyone, and also to understand what happened to the queen's young son who died recently, and she does not understand what happened. So I'm going to skip this. I'm going to try and skip, yes. Because this is what I wanted to show you first, is when you start a game, just like in any other Spiders game, you can choose your appearance, you can create your character, so you can customize Aegis as you will be playing Aegis. And there are very limited choices, really, which in a way is a bit of a shame, as I think there's room for a bit more. It's not that it would change anything, but I think it would be nice to be able to choose from other materials, for example. So here, for example, I think this one is a nice one. You have a wig, but you only have, I think it's 8 of them total, which again could be more. It's not. Well, you're going to see Aegis, and there are cutscenes, so you'll see her, even though sometimes she wears a hat that you can hide, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, a few more wouldn't hurt, and you're not going to be able to change the wig or the color of your material, the type of material you have, and the face. Once it's decided, I mean, the only thing you'll be able to change is the clothes you'll be wearing, which will all have different statistics, obviously. And that you will change according to your needs. Face also a few possibilities. This is maybe one of my favorite ones. Like this one too. I think this one is also nice, a bit cyberpunky in a way. I don't know, for some reason that's the way I feel. And once you've done that, this is the character classes you can choose from. So as I said, it's just for to begin the game. You have, when you choose a class, a bonus on 2 characteristics, which are going to be different depending on the class you choose. But then you're just free to continue on that path, or just to basically create the type of character you want. And it's going to depend on the type of weapon you prefer, really, because weapons are scaled on the power and efficiency of weapons are scaled on some of the characteristics. So obviously, if you decide to use this type of heavy weapon, you're not going to need agility in a way. So the bodyguard is the class I chose for my own game. It felt better for some reason. It's slower than the other classes. The weapon is a heavy one, so it's slower, but you can actually, you don't need to get too close to the enemies to hit them, which is good when you learn how to play the game and the dodging and everything. It's it may take many of the mechanics of a Souls game, but it has its own the way it plays, it feels different, so you need to get used to it. So I felt that the bodyguard class was actually good for that, because I could stay away from my enemies, could use the jump and hit action, which is very effective, and actually you can use a combo when you're in the air, so which is also very nice. And each class comes with, like I said, a bonus on 2 characteristics. So here is durability, which is linked to health and balance. And balance is also important, obviously, because you can more easily interrupt your enemies, and it can always be, I'd say convenient, especially in the beginning, as I said, when you're learning the game. And engineering, which is armor, basically. But as you can read, also the effectiveness of alchemical afflictions and the chance of finding loot. So it's all very interesting, because each class has its own, perks in a way. And you also get to start with 1 item. So usually it's a grenade for most classes, for 3 of the out of the 4 classes, it's a grenade. So here it's a petrification grenade, very handy also, because you use, well, usually 2 is enough. It's enough to immobilize your enemy, and then you can launch a critical I think hit, and it's a good way to hit the enemy without taking any risks. Soldier is also a heavy weapon. Comes with an explosive grenade, very effective, too effective if you ask me. I'll tell you what in a bit. And it actually scales with power and vigor. So all the weapons that will be in that type of sort of, it's like a spare really, and the first one is more like a big hammer, if you will. But so all the spare-like weapon will scale on power and vigor is endurance, because you might be a machine, but there's endurance, and I'll explain why in a bit. And also critical damage inflicted on enemies. Dancer is nice, but it didn't feel like it didn't seem like an easy choice for me in the beginning, because you really have to get close to the enemies, and for some reason I didn't feel the impact and everything as much as with the bodyguard class and the heavy weapons. So I felt more comfortable playing the bodyguard as a result. So agility and vigor are actually the 2 characteristics that are linked with that type of weapon. But the special move, because each weapon comes with a special move, is here you can use a shield, just like this heavy weapon. The bodyguard, relying on their strength, it's actually possible to withstand hits and also deal heavy physical damage, as it's written. Soldier is actually a range weapon, as it can be used as some sort of rifle, if I remember correctly. An alchemist, which to me seems like maybe the least interesting class of all, is basically you dealing elemental damage and also resisting to elemental damage more, and you get to use to have a vial, an alchemical resistance vial, to be able to neutralize enemy alchemical attacks for a while. So again, it's really up to you. I would recommend maybe trying them all. It's really not difficult to restart the game and to see how the different classes feels, and especially the weapons, because it's all about the weapons. So let's now jump in my own, well, not my own game, as it's completed and there's no new Game Plus mode as of yet. Probably will be added, but I can't show you anything from my game as it's completed, and so I think when I load it, it's just all I have is the ending credits, so it's not really interesting. So I've started a game. I think it was with the Dancer, and I'm not sure, because I've done that on Xbox, because I'm playing here on Xbox Series X, if you're wondering, but also I've tried the PC version, which does not run well on my rig, which is why I'm not showing it, because it might be due to my PC, to the absence of proper drivers, or maybe because the day 1 patch has not been released yet, so I'm not too sure. So yeah, let's jump to a game that is actually a bit further down the road in the adventure. It's past the introduction and everything, the content of the beta. So here we are on the main map. As you probably know, that's Spiders. I mean, they have limited budget, and they do pretty well, I think, considering the team. I think it's 30 people. So they don't make open world games, so this is not going to be an Elden Ring. But you have a map of Paris, pretty nice actually, pretty nice looking. You start in Saint Cloud, as I said, then you go to Les Invalides, and then you have the choice between 2 locations, the Tuileries and La Cité, and you're free to choose whatever you want. It actually is a good thing, but it also means, depending maybe where you decide to start, it might be a bit more difficult to beat the bosses you'll have to fight, because when you beat a boss, and the first, I would say, maybe 4 bosses, 4 big ones, you're going to get an extra ability that is going to help you in the traversal aspect of the game, but also in combat. So here I want to choose La Cité because that's where I am. And this is not what I chose in the first place. I really chose the Tuileries, but I was thinking it was actually interesting to show you this level. Another thing is you can see I have, well, not souls, but I think they're called mains. Not too sure they're called in English, to be frank. On the right, the bottom right of the screen, and you can see they're yellow, and then when they're originally green, but when they turn yellow, it means you have enough of them to actually upgrade your character, which I think is a nice idea, to be honest, because you don't need to check the menu to see if you have enough of them to anima essence, as they say in English apparently, to improve the character. So I play as the dancer here, and as you can see, this is the agility characteristic that I chose to upgrade a lot. Vigor is also interesting because you can actually get more endurance, and there's a critical hit multiplier, which is always also interesting. Here you can see that if I improve the agility, I will have a +1 on physical damage, which is not a lot. Here with the weapon I'm carrying, so the armored fans, I have no real advantage to choose to actually upgrade the power characteristic unless I want to have more power and so more impact, which can be useful, but especially with a heavy weapon. Durability here, that actually is something you can consider because it will improve your health, and it's always interesting to have a lot of health. Now, engineering will improve your armor, which can also be very convenient. Affliction multiplier, as I said, and loot multiplier. Elemental alchemy is something I've never really touched. And even when I actually played the dedicated class, I didn't feel, but I didn't play a lot, but I didn't feel like it was massively improving elemental damage, at least not with the weapon you start with. So I was a bit disappointed, which is why it's probably the class I would not recommend from what I've seen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some endurance here. I'm going to show you that there are a certain number of things you can do when you are at a save point, Vestal as they call them. Here it's not the Vestal, but it works the same. You have module slots where you can, if you have the keys, you can upgrade slots. You can open them all. In the beginning, they're all open here, I think, because I've opened them all, but in the beginning you only have one. And there you can equip some sort of boxes that will actually help you improve your character also. Weapons can also be upgraded. Here I'm going to improve my secondary weapon, which is a weapon you get very very quickly in the game, in the introduction level, let's say, and it's really important that you use it because it's going to make your life so much easier first, as long as you have the ammo to use it. So I'm going to upgrade it, and I have a few others, and again you can just change the weapons as you like, and then modify the characteristics, and add points where you think it's when you see it actually makes a difference. And you have the burette, not too sure how it's pronounced in English, so pardon my French. But you can upgrade the doses and the potency of it, provided you find by exploring the world the proper catalysts or sublimator. But that's not all you can do when you're at a Vestal. You can also, there's a shop, so like in the Devil May Cry game, or Solstice, that is going to come out in about 10 days, I would say now. Here you can actually buy grenades, and we'll see that. But grenades, when you have a lot of them, it makes the game way too easy, especially against bosses. I don't think I'll be able to show that, but who knows. You can buy some equipment, too, so which means basically weapons and clothes. armor, if you will. There are modules you can buy. They're called modules, and they're like little boxes that I think that you equip, and they can, for example, increase the resistance of the main character, or is her health, for example. And they're materials, because you need materials to upgrade your weapons. But clothes and armor cannot be upgraded, so you know. You can also sell things should you need, some currency, some money. Why not? And then you can also, there's also a correspondence, there's letters. You're going to be able to communicate with some of the characters here. And equipment, it means that this is where you can actually do that when exploring the world, but you can also do it here, which means you can change what you're wearing. You can also change weapons, and again, it's very, very quick to see what benefit you could get from a new weapon or not. And you can also equip modules, and like I said here, I use some of them here to improve my health, to also improve my the ventilation of my automaton, the body, basically, and they come in like 3 different levels, like there's grade 1, 2, and 3, and to be able to actually equip grade 2 or 3 modules, you need to upgrade the different slots that I showed before. And then you have the journal, obviously, with the side quests, because there are side quests, the map of Paris, and the statistics here, which you can already see when you upgrade your character, but you can easily have access if you press the proper button. You see everything's there. So let's start. So this is Xbox Series X running on performance mode. Image is quite blurry. It's 1080p without a doubt. It's not above. It was difficult for me to get used to it in the beginning. I'm going to show you why I chose this mode, as the two others I really don't like. So you can charge your heavy attacks like this. You can dodge. There are light attacks like this. You can also jump and attack, and there are combos, like I said. So it's pretty nice. When you dodge, when you attack, when you jump, you lose endurance, and when your endurance gauge is empty, there's overheating, and you can either just wait until your endurance comes up again, or you can use a cooling system, but it's a double-edged sword sort of manipulation, because if you do so, you can get frozen for just a little bit. Although to be frozen, you really need the frozen meter to be full, so it sometimes is tactically interesting to actually use the cooling system so that you can get away from your enemies, and then you have more chances to avoid their attacks and wait until the endurance comes back. So here, those enemies, they explode, so the easiest way to take them out, well, unless you're really awkward as I am, is to basically just try to get as far from them as you can when you understand that they're going to explode. So when you arrive in a new location, and you can sprint, which uses endurance. I'll show you basically how it works when it overheats, and everything's locked, and you're going to have to unlock shortcuts. My endurance bar is so long because I upgraded it that and see, slowly it comes back, but I could have used the cooling system. So here it's blocked, and here too. But often it's quite easy to see where you have to go in order to get the shortcut. So we're going to try and do that. You have 2 different ways to get your health back. You have your old beret that you can use in limited number. You have 3 of them. You have 2 of them in the beginning, I think maybe 1. I think it's 2. Then when you upgrade them, you have more, but you cannot have more than 5. It doesn't seem like a lot, but you also have ordinary oil vials, and this you can carry as many as you find or buy, which means you know, in the last part of the game I had 99 of them all the time. Even when using one, it was 99, and it made the game easier, because even though it's not, you don't get your health back up you know, immediately, it takes time. But if you just wait and you're careful and you dodge your enemies, you're going to get your health back. So it means you never really find yourself in a position where you don't have any way to get health back. So this is an enemy that I don't really like, because he has a spare, and he can also shoot. Actually, I think it's, don't remember exactly, I think it's the first like semi boss you have to fight in the game, and it took me so many tries to do it. So because I'm a dancer, I have the like immobilization meter actually goes up very fast, and I can immobilize the enemy, and then I can throw a fatal blow. Oh, I missed it. So you can see like the meter is almost full, and now I can attack it and finish it. But there's also stealth kills in the game, which is not too difficult to achieve, actually. So let me show you why I said that the oh yeah, there's another guy over there. That the rifle is actually, the musket, I think, is very convenient. Oh, ouch. Because you can freeze your enemy, then switch to the other weapon, and then charge your attacks and take advantage of it. And see, make things much easier in the beginning. So let me just get some health. Only problem is switching from one weapon to another is not as quick, and it doesn't always work, actually, maybe depending, because the enemy the character maybe is performing an action, a move, and so it's not working. So I find it's a bit cumbersome sometimes, but it takes it, just like using a shield. I'm not going to be able to, oh yeah, actually I can show you that. So shield is pretty neat, like this, you know, very nice animation. But you really have to anticipate, because if you do it as, you know, it takes a bit of time, and sometimes you feel like you've actually pressed the button, but it didn't do anything. So I'm not too sure why. So this guy is a pain too. We're going to use the rifle. You can also use the jump to avoid the attacks and to attack from above, which is great. I shouldn't have done that. So let's me try this again. So here, as I fall, I cannot change my weapon as I was falling to the ground. And I wish I could, because, you know, it's like when you do something, you can't do two things at the same time. So something you should know, because in the beginning it's maybe it doesn't feel that obvious and natural. And then you could think that you have the right weapon, but in fact you don't. Oh no, I'm going to die like an idiot if I don't. Let's just wait it out. Not too difficult to, and use my musket. So not all enemies are this sensitive to, let's say, you know, frost and cold, but even though you don't always deal a lot of damage, the thing is, because you freeze them, you really can attack them, and there's no real, you know, it's not risky at all. So, ooh, no. So when you have this, you know, like red warning sign, it means that you cannot block, but I could block. Oh no. This is not something I can block. And so be careful when you burn, to use the dodge to to put out the fire. So let me use the old barrette. That will be more convenient. So because it's a Souls game, you know, many places you can't go to, which is good because I don't think I'm, you know, strong enough to face this guy. But you're going to have to find the different shortcuts. And in the first time you explore an area, it may look like it's very linear in a way, that it's there's just the one way to get to where you need to go first. And in a way it's true, but then you start to understand that there are many hidden places and many locations you can explore. So I don't need to take care of him, so I'm going to leave him there, although there is actually something to loot there, but it's not my first time here, so that's why I can gain a bit of time here. So I'll switch to the other graphics modes, as I was saying before, that and this, when you see these bags hanging, there's loot inside. So let's not risk anything and use... Oh no. So my advice, freeze, then... Oh no, careful, it's like the dogs. It's true. Forgot. I was... So here, it's possible to stealth attack. Oh no, missed it. Careful, there's another one. But what I do with them, with the dancer, is actually, because you know the animation, it's so much easier, is you do this and then you charge and then it doesn't have time to actually get to you before you launch your attack. Another piece of advice is destroy the crates, as not in contrary to Dark Souls, you're going to find loot inside. Not every time, but usually when there's a lot of them, there's always something to get. So it can be like a health vial, for example. So there's a shortcut, the first one in this level. See, I can go back here. But of course I'm going to continue, as I don't have enough Anima essence anyway to upgrade Aegis, so... Which I can say because it's not green, actually it's blue. I don't know what I said, it was green before. There's something to loot over there. But I know there's also someone who's a bit of a pain in the beginning. And I missed it. And so... So let's use my musket. It's very she's, I would say. Don't know if it's she or he. Very sensitive to frost or whatever it's called. So the essence of a noble spirit is like finding the essence of the soul of an unknown warrior, for example, and then you can get Anima essence. So there's a sort of platforming aspect to the game, which works well enough, although the jump animation is a bit clunky, I would say. And even like when Aegis actually grab a ledge, it works, but like I said, it can be a bit awkward. I mean, it's functional. I've never really fell to my death or anything, so it's not really a problem. But it does not feel as smooth as in, you know, I don't know what example I could take. So cutscenes, as I said, and people you meet. There's probably less interactions with characters than in Greedfall and the other games by the studio, but there are characters, NPCs that you're going to talk to that will send you on secondary missions. It's just that there's no real relationship sort of mechanic.
You're no more human than the machines that laid waste to the city.
I was not given the same orders.
But Aegis says something special. I mean, she can talk, and the other machines, they can't. So there's also a reason for that that we'll uncover as the story goes. So as you can maybe hear, I'm not too sure you can, but as you can maybe hear, all these French people, they have perfect British accent. Well, there's a little bug here, which happened to me on my first playthrough, so I'm guessing maybe it'll be addressed in the day 1 patch, which hasn't come out yet. But yeah, Aegis is floating in the air, and it's it's just a bit of a shame because look at the view. This is actually looking very good. It's not the game is not a looker, but art style is great, and actually again, even like with the gameplay, it was like the gameplay first. I needed a bit of time to get used to it, to get the hang of it, and graphically it was the same because I felt that the image quality was not good enough. 60 FPS is nice, but it's not perfect either. But I'm going to show you why it shows the performance modes over the other 2 modes, because I don't mind 30 FPS really. I mean, I've played Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart like this, Horizon Forbidden West like this, even Spider-Man Miles Morales like this. So I don't mind playing it 30. But even though it's playable in Steelrising, it doesn't feel smooth, and it's sort of caused me headaches, so I gave up on the graphics modes and resolution mode. So this is the graphic quality mode. So probably more see that the image quality is improved. Frame rate is not, obviously. And I think that they may have some sort of spray traced reflections sometime, but if it's like it looks like what I saw on PC, but they're not impressive by any means on PC either. So and they're really not present a lot, at least in Windows, and so I don't really see the need of it. Now maybe shadows and everything is improved too in the graphics mode. Thing is, we have no information as reviewers, or even in the game when you change the mode, you don't know what it does. So it's a bit of a shame also not to let people know. So I'll play just a little bit like this, so you can see if you can stand the 30 FPS. Not quite sure why I don't like it, because even on PC, locking the game at 30 felt better than this. So I'll go this guy again. So again, wait until you land to switch weapons. Attack 2 times. And no. So put out the fire. Let's take a potion. And let's continue, because for now it's pretty linear, like I said, first time in the area. But I'm going to open another shortcut, which is actually very close from the other one, because it brings me back here. So I'm not too sure it was necessary, but it's there. Now this gate is locked, so I need to find my way around it. And I forgot, actually scared the hell out of me. Forgot to switch to my fans. But it worked. So this is the way, as someone would say. So let's try and do a stealth attack at least once. You can arrive from behind, but sometimes they're not really like turned on or activated, so they face you, but you can still stealth attack them. I don't think it's the AI not working properly. I think it's just that they are in like rest mode or something. I'm going to use my ammo again, my elemental ammunition, or you're going to explode on me again. Yeah, I'm going to try and do that. Thing is, with the bodyguard, I think because you can hit harder, it's easier to kill these guys before they decide to commit suicide. So I'm going to switch to resolution mode in just a bit. So if you don't forget to destroy the crates. Okay, so there's something over there. I'd like to, yeah, probably not the best place to show you the difference. So here is something I wanted to talk about, because this is something I cannot access to for now because I don't have the tool for that. Now, if I had started with the other location, I think it was the jewelry, wasn't it? I had completed the location and I had beaten the boss, I would have gotten that tool. So which means here I could unlock a path to a new Vestal, so I could have a checkpoint. But because I chose La Cité first, I'm not going to be able to do that. I think maybe it's not, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's not the first ability you unlock might be the air dash. I'm not too sure. Can't remember quite well. Should have taken notes. But the thing is, yeah, depending on no, maybe the first time you get here anyway, you cannot actually reach this Vestal first. It's just that you can reach the you can reach that the loot over there because you can air dash, and I can't here. But yeah, depending on, again, the location you choose first, you're going to be able to have access to things you would not have if you hadn't, if I'm clear. And I don't know if I am. Okay, so there's a big dude over there. Has he? Because there's no pause, as you can imagine. So I was just wondering. Oh no, can I? Yes, I can. The frost one, what is it? Can't remember. Increases frost damage. Okay, so yeah, I could use that. So it's going to let's lure him so that yeah, I know I wasted ammo here, but okay, so he's not too happy. Only have a few left. Should be careful. In the beginning, you don't have a lot of ammo, but then by the end of the game, the last, third, maybe even before, you get so much of it that you can use your range weapons so often. It's make things a lot easier again. There's also an attack if you sprint. And again, remember that with the dancer, you can immobilize your enemies when you hit them enough. So it's always interesting to... Also, why it's actually a good class. Just that you need to get close to your enemies. And in the beginning, it might not be that easy when you're learning the game and you're learning how to play. Let me switch to resolution, which is probably not going to show a lot here, but yeah, it's just as so with the bodyguard, my tactic for them was just to jump and hit, which is a lot less easy with the dancer, because no, because she needs to be very close to the enemies to hit them, so it doesn't work as well. I'd like your friend to commit suicide. Come on, do it. This was not what I had in mind. He's not going to... Oh, yes. No! Oh, first time he's overdone that. Yeah, also it's actually a strategy to to just leave, and then they're not going to follow you around for very long. No! Okay. Sneaky bastard. when you know the enemies, basically you know when you can actually continue attacking, and because you have a chance to immobilize them. So here there's another shortcut which takes us back to this place where there was another shortcut taking us back to the beginning. So here I'm apparently stuck, except that remember you can jump and you can use this as an advantage to actually discover other places. And so exploration is actually key. And then in the last part of the game, or like the last ability I unlocked was a grappling hook, which also was pretty cool. And all those tools you unlock, you can use them to traverse the environment, as I said, but also to fight the enemies, which is also convenient. But usually the attacks, they use elemental ammo. No, what did I do? There you go. So the main problem I have with the game, and I'm going to go back to the frame rate mode, is that I find it too easy. Not because I'm not dead yet here, as you know, I've completed the game once and I know my way around the game and I know how to deal with the enemies much better than in the beginning, but I mostly died, like I said, the first semi-boss that you'll fight actually is available in the beta, but the first boss at the end of the first area in the first level is really easy, especially if you use the frost rifle or the grenades. And I think that is when maybe spiders made just a little mistake, because they allow you to carry as many grenades as you want, as you can carry, as you can buy, as you can loot, and this is making the game easy because, for example, if you have a lot of explosive grenades, I mean, I've tried it on a later boss, not the last one, but maybe second to last or the one before that, and I actually could kill the boss with the grenades only and didn't even have to get close to it and was never hit. And that is for me something that a Soulsborne game doesn't want to do. I mean, sure, you can say, but just don't use the grenades. It's the easy mode. It's like a hidden easy mode, you know, like actually calling for the mimic in Elden Ring. But I don't know. For me, they should limit the number of grenades you can carry, and they also should limit the number of ordinary old vials you can carry, because when you have 99 of them, even if you have only 5 old barrettes, I mean, it's pretty easy to manage your health and everything. And I don't think it should be that easy. Not if you want people to enjoy your bosses and the music, the score when you fight a boss. I mean, the different tracks are really good, but I mean, the epicness you have in the music, you don't have in the combat, because it's, first of all, bosses are quite easy to read. So, which means the first time it's not that difficult to dodge almost all their attacks. Okay, so there's a guy over there. And so it's not that difficult to dodge their attacks. And again, that is not something that people are used to when playing a Soulsborne game, at least by From Software. But even the Surge, for example, and even Thymesia that I reviewed not so long ago, is guarding, waiting for it to attack, then this, then charge, and then, oh, he blocked me. I'm showing people some tricks to take you down. Charge. And that's it. Okay, so here, a little bit tricky. Yeah, as I suspected, I didn't do well. Ah, come on. Ouchie. Dying now would be unfortunate. But that's part of the, the genre, right? Oh, come on. That was hard. Okay. That should be good. Same thing with you. Charge and then attack. And there you go. So, very good spot to actually show you the differences in the graphics modes. I mean, at least in terms of image quality, I think. So, let me change. Graphic quality. There's not a tremendous difference, but still, I mean, image quality is better. Resolution. And back to frame rate mode. Yeah, well, I'm close to the 4K screen and it's not as obvious as I remember it was when I first played. Also maybe because it's a, when night comes in the game, it actually looks better than the beginning when there's sunlight and, you can see the jaggies more, aliasing and everything. So here, let's continue. And we should reach a Vestal, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And a cutscene. So yeah, again, I think some of the decisions that were meant to, make the game as, less frustrating probably, even for those who didn't want to use the assist mode, they may actually be detrimental to the game or to the overall experience. Now you can tell me that, sure, don't use the grenade and then play the game as it should be played, use the dodge, use the attacks and everything. And true, I mean, you can do that, and you're obviously going to enjoy the bosses a lot more if you do that. In the beginning of the game, the first part of the game, you're not going to be able to kill a boss with the grenades because you're not going to have enough of them. But you can get a few hits with the grenades safely, and then you stay cautious. But what I mean is, even though, sure, I completed some of the Dark Souls games. I've completed Elden Ring and Demon Souls and Dark Souls 3. The 2 Neo, although they're not exactly Souls games. Timesia last summer also completed. But I don't consider myself as a good player, as an expert in the Soulsborne games. And I really found, except from the beginning maybe, in the first 2 levels and missions, and 3 maybe, but the bosses really, every time it was a bit of underwhelming because it was much easier than I expected. And I think that's what a lot of people who played the beta also felt, because the first semi-boss, they might actually have had a hard time beating it, but the second one, the one just before you take the boat to the next location, is really not difficult to dodge, to actually get rid of without getting a sweat. And yeah, it's the first one, you say, so it's fine, but then all the other bosses, that's the way I felt. And it's really a shame, because I enjoyed the game very much, but I was more scared of the enemies, as some of the enemies are really a pain, than of the bosses, and doesn't seem like it's right. It should not be like that. So another thing, because it's a double A game, obviously the character faces and their facial animation, it's very stiff. So it's a bit more difficult to be immersed than in, say, The Last of Us Part 1, obviously. But I've enjoyed the story too, in a way. I mean, the revelations I've learned, and the fact that it actually mixes like some true facts or true characters of French history with fiction, and I think it works well. And I like actually this game world a lot. And in a way, I've grown fond of the different characters, to be honest. So let me just go up here, because you can also find survivors that you're not going to be able to see because they'll always be hiding behind their windows or doors. And you can speak to them. I mean, some of them ask you for like favors, but they never appear in the quest journal, so they don't really count as secondary quests, and you don't get anything from them except maybe I don't know, a potion or a grenade, maybe something like that. But you can speak to them. I think why not? But I think it's a bit of a shame. It's very easy to know where they are because you can hear them speak, and there's also this sign, the blue, white and red sign there. So you can speak here. What I find a bit cumbersome is that, and I didn't get that in the beginning, is that so you listen, you speak to that woman, you listen to her, and then if you skip, for example, here, you think it's over. But actually, as long as you can speak to matron, I mean, there might be something more for her to say. And I don't understand why it doesn't work as the other dialogues with the NPCs that are more important in the story, where you select the what you want to say to them. So you want to have information about something, and then when you've done it, it's grayed out, or it disappears. For example, here you have to keep maintaining the Y button to trigger the next part of the conversation, which doesn't really feel right to me. In her case, she asks, she's wondering where her son has gone, and so that is a sort of mission you can complete if you find her son, or if you find evidence that her son died, and you come back to her. But like I said, it's completely optional, and it does not make the lore deeper, or and you don't get anything from it. You probably get some Anima essence, but that's pretty much all you get. Another shortcut. If you remember, well, yeah, I came this way because this is where there was this gate I could not open. So level design wise, it's pretty well done actually. It's not as big as a Souls game, as you can imagine. Remember, it's only 30 people working on the game, but still, it's and so yeah, if you have to activate the Vestal first, just like the campfire or anything, and then you can use it, and then all the enemies come back, or you cannot use it. But here you can see that I have enough Anima essence, so I can upgrade. So let's why not upgrade my health? What else can I do? Can I upgrade my weapons? Nope. Can't. What about this? No. And here I can't. Maybe I can buy a few grenades. Explosive grenades am I? Oh yes, 9 of them. Maybe I could actually get rid of the local boss if I get to the boss. It's probably going to be a very long video. It's like a presentation / review. I was not too sure what I wanted to do, to be honest, and probably taking, well, I don't think it's taking me more time than to actually have to translate into English everything I've written in the video, in the French video review. So let's assume that this is for the best for everyone. But don't hesitate to let me know. I mean, don't make me lose my time if this is really a waste of time and I'm not interesting enough to keep you entertained or to inform you. It's not that easy to do this on my own. It was much... Oh, okay. It was much easier when Blim was willing to help. But yeah, this is not going to happen now. So, and Dafton was supportive as he is, helping me with the website and everything. It's not comfortable with English. So. Well, he thinks he's not good enough, but I don't think it's true. I'm not going to force him to do something he's not comfortable with, though. Okay. Well, let's continue. I'm not going to explore as I should or would if it was me playing, because there are things to see over there. But you again. So something you can miss also, which can be a bit annoying. Not too sure why. Maybe it's some RPG element to it, like the statistic is not good enough, so I miss. No, don't. This is... I'm not really cautious, am I? So alchemical capsules, if I'm not mistaken in English, it's what they called the elemental alchemical ammo that I was talking about before. Yeah, well, something I haven't shown is the shield. Completely forget, because this is actually I started with the big hammer with the bodyguard, and you can use it as a shield too. So I started with a shield, but then I switched to another type of hammer, and there was like I don't know, the secondary like attack was more like a shotgun sort of attack, and it was really powerful. And so then I stopped pairing. And there are actually also weapons that have a shield, and if you time it right, the secondary attack is a counter attack. So see, when you destroy the crates, you can find things. So here there's what I call a semi-boss, like it's not an actual boss, actually a regular enemy you're going to face after that. It's a bit like in the Elden Ring. Well, you cannot, if there's a Vestal in the area, you cannot use it unless the enemy that has that sort of bluish or greenish halo around him is dead. I don't know if I want you to get too close to me. I'm not going to use the grenade because I want to save them for the maybe the boss. Come this way. No, it doesn't work. Come on. It's so cool when you actually... Ouch. Ooh, come on. See, it can take a while to actually freeze them. So, it's... Okay, let's be careful. I've never used the cooling system, by the way, I realize. No, that was careless. Did he hit me with his butt? That's not cool, man. It's going to take a while to immobilize him. just be cautious, basically. Don't take any chances. I can, come on, yeah, nice. Do I have the time? Yes, I do. Oop, he blocked. And okay, cooling system. I don't know if you spotted that, but I used it. Allowed me to finish him off before he could turn around. So, pretty good move. Phew. So 2 crates here, if I remember correctly. First one I can open. Oh, actually, it's a hat. So less armor. So I'm not always comfortable losing armor, but more resistance to flames and more endurance. So sometimes it's never like a win-win decision you make. It's you have to make the right choice depending on what you need. And sometimes, if you know that, if you don't know, but when you realize that the next boss is using fire, maybe that actually is a good thing to have equipment that can help you resist fire more. I'm going to skip this, let's not spoil anything. So you can see that there are cutscenes, and then there comes a point in the story when you've saved enough of the important people in Paris. And you're going to be able to go back to where they're hiding and talk to them, and they'll be taking you on secondary missions that will deepen the lore, but also, it's actually quite interesting because the game makes you not go back to previous locations, but discover basically places you could not visit because you didn't have the proper ability, like in the Metroidvania. So you can still come back on your own and just explore, but if you do the secondary missions, the services, I think they're called in English, well, then you're going to explore fully the different locations, and you're going to be able to find loot and discover new places, and so also have more information about the situation, because you're going to be helping these guys build the resistance against the machines and things like that. So yeah, I would say it's worth taking the time to do them and to go back to those locations, and then it makes you stronger. And it's also maybe why I was so strong and that I felt the game was too easy. So might be something to consider. Don't do the services, and then don't upgrade your character too much. So I cannot upgrade my attributes, my characteristics, but I can upgrade my my musket. So do I want to do that, or do I want to wait? Well, actually, I realize I have. Yeah, I have this to use, so I should be able to do a pretty good number of things now. So let's start with the weapons. I'm going to improve my fans, which is always a funny thing to say. Then my agility. And then the money I have left, I'm going to purchase some more grenades so I can actually get rid of the boss and show you my point. Really. Because with all the grenades I have now, pretty good chance of actually getting... I think I found something for the barrette. Yeah, it's going to give me more health now. So, yeah, that's pretty good news. Okay, so let's continue. I think we're getting close to the boss. Actually, an easier way to... No, this is a way back to the Vestal over there. But obviously, if I do that, I'm not going to be able to come back here unless I take the long way around it. Oh, yeah, sorry, forgot about you guys. Sometimes, yeah, they're not going to stay down there. What are you going to do? Find it easier to deal with several enemies in this game than in like the first Souls games, for example. But obviously that's not how I felt when I started playing in. No! That was close. So some fulmination grenades. I found 2 of them. What do they do? I can't remember. I've actually completed the game about maybe a week ago, a bit more. Ouch. I'm not going to take care of all the enemies in the area, as I want to get to the boss, which should be over there. I'll get rid of you. Well, this is also something I don't like. Sometimes, I think it's this guy with the spear, which is why I don't like him, is sometimes you dodge and the enemy, it actually follows your move, and it doesn't seem it's fair. So it's not Timesia, because Timesia did that a lot. It was so unfair. And I think it's this one enemy that does it, mainly. But it's still annoying when it happens. Well, let's skip it. Again, point is not to show you everything. So this is the boss area. So I can maybe prove to you that you can... I don't know, maybe this boss is actually not vulnerable enough to... Can I bite another one just to be sure? I could use petrification grenades also to petrify the enemy and then hit him without taking any chances and any risks. But the thing is, it would take more time because I don't deal as much damage as as a grenade. So where's the explosive grenade? Yeah, can buy 2. Yeah, 2 it is. And so you find also notes. So pretty common also in these games. You don't need the notes to understand what's going on. And this is a boss. And this is where we'll end, and I'll try to conclude and sort of gather my thoughts so that it makes more sense than everything I've said so far. I'll try at least. I have a few days before the embargo lifts, so the video should be ready on time on YouTube. I have actually 2 full days. It's not that much. Okay, so I'm going to show you maybe his attacks first. Also has a sort of, it's not exactly a spear, it's like a staff. It's more like a staff, but it's pretty huge and long. So, and he can throw me his book, which doesn't feel like a very nice thing to do. And then you have an opening here. So if you're really patient, you can do this. But you can see that it's also... Okay, so I've shown you that. It was not my intention, but at least I've shown you that. And now we're going to try and see if I can get rid of him with just the grenades. Might not have enough of them though. But, you know, at some point in the game you'll have so many grenades that you'll be able to... Actually, you should be able to do it, maybe. There's obviously a second phase. Might have to wait a little bit. Ouch. Well, let's see. That was reckless. Music is great. But the way I'm fighting the boss is horrible. And see? Well, it's not no damage taken, because I did take some damage, but no sweat, really. And to me, if you had a limited number of grenades you could carry in battle, so for example, let's say 5, like the maximum barrettes you can carry when you have upgraded them all, well then you would never be able to do that. You could use the grenades to make your life a bit easier during combat, but it would be different, and considering here you have to select what you want to carry in your belt. So I can have incendiary grenades and explosive grenades, and then petrification grenades. And if I have a lot of them, there's really no danger. I mean, it's the boss it stops being threatening, if you catch my meaning. So here, when you meet a character, you're going to be able to talk to him and to ask him about, you know, what's going on and the other characters. And this is where you unlock the grappling hook, which is something that I got later in the game, in my own game, because I didn't come to La Cité first. And since, you know, each location takes a bit of a while to explore and to complete, I managed to do without it because the levels are meant this way. And the only thing is, in order to unlock the locations where the grappling hook will be necessary for the main missions, you need to complete everything that's before. But again, it's very, very simple, and very simple to use also, and pretty cool to use too, if I may say. So here, I think I've shown you everything I wanted to show you, considering it was, you know, discovering a new location and showing you how it works, showing you that you have to unlock shortcuts, and that all the new places, because you get a new ability, you're going to be able to reach new areas. And there's Notre Dame here, so that's also a very nice scenery here. And if I switch to, let's say, the graphics mode, yeah, it's a bit sharper, but it's clearly not worth the loss in smoothness. And this is, yeah, it also lacks details. I mean, you know, art style is very nice. I mean, the way they use the lighting, but you know, because they go for a very realistic look, that's probably also why the character faces and animations, I mean, they look so unconvincing in a way. I mean, with something that does not look as realistic as this, that would probably be easier. So let's upgrade. Well, figure. So there's someone there, so if you want to talk to him, just be my guest. So here I just want to show you that. Oh, there's one thing I actually failed to mention in the French video review, is that, and it might be a little cumbersome for some, is because you cannot travel back to the map unless you get to back to the very beginning of the level. You have to backtrack there. Usually the level is made in a way that it's not going to be so difficult to backtrack, and because you just follow the path that you're going to unlock because of your new ability. Let's just continue here. But there's still some backtracking to do in order to be able to travel again, and yeah, that could have been made maybe a bit easier, I would say. So I'm not going to try and get everything. Oh, be careful, because here, if you just slide down here, ouch. So I'm not back where I thought I was. I think there's something here. Yeah, there's a hidden location here. I should stop, as I need to conclude. I mean, I've spoken for way too long. I'm going to die like an idiot. Come on, guys. Well, that's not really nice, is it? Okay, let's not take any chances. Okay, so don't forget the like hanging sort of bag bags there. They contain loot. And there's another vestal here. So this is where I'm going to stop. Okay, so yeah, it makes me realize I forgot to say one or two things. The backtracking aspect. I have to go back to the beginning of the level in order to get to the traveling booth, so to speak. It's not really a booth. It's actually doesn't have any horses, but it's a sort of carriage basically, and this is where you have to go back to when you want to travel to another location. So yeah, there's a bit of backtracking. So basically, it's a game that, I mean, I had to make an effort to enjoy it because you have to get used to the controls, which can sometimes feel a bit clunky. Like I said, like switching weapons, you feel like you should be able to switch weapons when you're jumping in the air, for example, but you can't. So sometimes it can lead to you using the weapons, the weapon that you thought you had changed or switched. Because you thought you switched to the other one, and so the animation also, because they're automatons basically, they look like machines, moving in very odd ways sometimes, like sometimes they stop moving and they wait, and so it takes them getting used to. But once you get the hang of it, it becomes very enjoyable. The combat is probably the best that Spiders have ever done. I don't know if it says a lot, because in the previous games, combat was workable, serviceable, as we say, but it was not incredible. But there were other aspects in the game. There was the team management aspect, the relationship with the different characters, and the characters of the members of your team and everything. And here it's not there. There are NPCs, but there's no relationship involved really here. There's just, you have to uncover the secrets behind this let's say decision of the king to unleash the machines, the robots that he made. Well, he didn't make them himself, but the person responsible for that, you also need to find to understand why he did it, and to what purpose. So yeah, the combat system is a lot more enjoyable now. Although again, it depends on the weapon you use, and I found that for me, starting with the bodyguard was the best way to feel the impact of the hits, and to also be able to play without getting too close to the enemies first, giving me the time to learn how they moved and how I was supposed to avoid the attacks and dodge them as best I could. But then I was a bit disappointed to see that almost all bosses I beat on the first try, and there was one that I had to try a second time, mainly because I got stuck, and there was a sort of an area attack with thunder, and my health bar was full, but I was killed almost immediately. But if it and the boss only had like maybe well, it was almost dead, right? It just needed to hit him once maybe, and so it was just pure bad luck. But the rest really, it was me just facing them for the first time, understanding very quickly how I could dodge them, and then just with a bit of patience, especially in the beginning, and sometimes using the grenades just to see if I could, to make things ridiculously easy. And I think that's something that should be addressed for the sake of the game, because there's an assist mode for those who really have trouble with the combat and the bosses. So why make it so easy? Or at least it should be an option. I don't know, like the normal mode should be, there should be a limited amount of grenades you can carry, and limited amount of ordinary oil vials you could carry in battle, so that you can just not spam the boss and use everything you have on him, and then simply take him out without getting hit, and without skills, because you don't need any skills for that. So for me, yeah, that is something that it didn't ruin the fun for me, because I didn't use the grenades that much. It was, more like in case of an emergency. But I really didn't need to. It's just to make things quicker sometimes, or to see if I could do it, because I wanted to be able to tell you guys, well, are they things you can do to make the game easier? But it's not an overly challenging game overall, I would say. It's really not, and it's not a bad thing, really. I mean, but some people, especially those who've completed all the games by From Software, they should be aware of that, because if they believe it's going to be a very challenging game, they're going to be disappointed, and I wouldn't want that to happen, because I don't think it would be fair for the game. Maybe that's not what the developers wanted. They wanted people to be able to see the end and of it, and well, this is actually doable, because it's the learning curve is actually interesting, because you can feel that you're getting better, and you can feel that you're getting tougher also, and more powerful. And this is always great. And in the first half of the game, there's always the tension. Say, okay, am I going to be able to get to the next Vestal? Am I going to lose my Anima essence or not? Just like in the Dark Souls game, and this is what we like also, discovering the level, not knowing exactly where it's going to lead you. That's all the fun, and exploration is actually also fun when you unlock the different tools to traverse, like the grappling hood I showed you, and some other tools that you can use also in combat. Actually, I haven't shown you that, but you can use the grappling hook in combat. I think it's a sort of an electric attack. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it. So you need alchemical ammo, or whatever it's called, but you can use that. I'm going to die, because at least that's me showing how you die. Okay. Okay, so this is me dying. So you can die. I was broken, but the Vestal was close, so no harm done, I would say. So yeah, it's really a game I enjoyed. It's a AA game, so you have to accept some of its shortcomings, like its clunkiness sometimes. But I think they've achieved something in terms of combat, and it's just that graphically it's a bit disappointing, I would say, especially in terms of image quality and sometimes frame rate even on Xbox. I didn't mention the PC version, as I said before, because it doesn't run very well on my i9 900K. I think it's the CPU I own, and my RTX 2080 Ti. And it's really not the equipment, really. It's changing the resolution doesn't help. Using DLSS doesn't seem to change much. A little bit, sure, when it's on ultra settings, but it's a poor performance overall for me, at least before the day one patch has been released and some drivers have become available. So maybe I'll look at just check when the game becomes available to see if it's still the case. I haven't seen anyone complain on the beta, so I don't know if they're playing on console or on PC. It's visually more polished. I mean, it doesn't look very different, but its image quality is better, and more effects probably also going on everywhere. But it's in terms of performance, I prefer to play on Xbox Series X, even though, as you saw, it's not perfect visually, and frame rate sometimes, or the camera maybe also requires some getting used to. But I enjoyed my time on the game. Remember that it's a AA game. It's just that the price is not that of a AA game, and I think that it's probably a mistake on the part of Nacon. Maybe you can find the game at a cheaper price, and that would be my advice. Don't buy it full price. I know that in France, in some places, you can find the game when they ship, and they're much cheaper. basically like in I don't know the actual equivalent in every possible country, but in places like Walmart, for example, there might be I don't know if they do it in the US, so like the games are cheaper there than say at GameStop, but in France it's the case. So usually you can find games that ship at around 40-45 euros, sometimes maybe 50 or 60 for a PS5 exclusive game. But it's still cheaper than the actual real price on the store. So that actually would make, I think, Steelrising more appealing. Although again, I didn't have a bad time at all. I mean, I had a very good time. And aside from the fact that I don't think it's challenging enough, it might just be something I feel because it's me, and I wouldn't want to everyone to consider that it's not a game to purchase if they have liked what they've seen today with me. Okay, so I cannot finish let me show you the petrification grenade. See that you barely need 2, actually you need 1. I don't have any health anymore, and I'm broken again, and I didn't get my Anima essence back, so that's it. So yeah, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Again, I'm sorry that I didn't have time to write a proper English review. I mean, there's a full review in French that I've written. There's a video review in French too, with a different text actually, so I had the time to do that, but I could not do it in English, and felt it was better to present the game this way, but maybe it's more awkward, I don't know. You let me know, but until next time, I hope that you've enjoyed this one, and thank you all for watching, and well, I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye guys.